Okay. All right. That was close. Okay. Anyway, so now I'm gonna go into some more of my records, and I feel like this might actually be the thing we might actually end on, because we're actually almost to the end of my record collection. So let's get into this. You can start saying that there. Okay. No, don't start yet. Actually, don't start yet. You don't start yet. Start it over. Start the timer over. Yeah. All right, now we're ready. Okay, so this is Cosmo by Flying Lotus. You can start it now. All right. So this is one of my favorite albums of the year 2010. And he is actually, I don't know, you probably have heard of this guy. You probably heard some of his songs, even if you haven't heard of him, because they play a lot of his songs in Adult Swim. But he is actually John Coltrane's, well, actually, I think he's more related to Alice Coltrane, but Alice Coltrane is his aunt, and Alice Coltrane was John Coltrane's wife before he died. This is a really, really great album. It's very, very well produced, very catchy, pretty easy to get into as well, I'd say. I feel like everyone probably should have a little bit of something they really, really enjoy in this. Nico was actually kind of commercially successful in the mainstream, I think, maybe because of Adult Swim playing his music on this album all the time, but I don't know. But yeah, this is a really great album, one of the best electronic music albums of the 2010s, in my opinion. So, anyway, so this one is Since I Left You by the Avalanches. This is my favorite Australian band. One of my favorite Plunderphonics album. My number one would be Person Pitch for Panda Bear, if you consider that to be one, but this is a really great album too. This whole album is made up of samples, as you would imagine from the name Plunderphonics, and I think this group has actually kind of developed a more mainstream following recently. It's a very, very creative album too, and there's so much stuff in it. It's almost like the samples in it just feel like they belong there. It's like, I don't know, I always thought sample-based music was a really, really cool thing. And a lot of people consider Introducing by DJ Shadow to be the grand piece of Plunderphonics music, but I don't know, I prefer this so much more. I mean, Introducing kind of might get a bit boring after a while, but it feels like this one is just always so fun and summery and bubbly all the way through. It feels like I just prefer it so much more. Okay, so this one is Obscura by Gore Guts. And this is actually probably my favorite death metal band. And they're a death metal band from Quebec. And this is a more avant-garde metal style. It took me a bit to get into this album. I originally didn't really care for it that much when I first heard it, but I really, really love it now. The song Nostalgia is probably my favorite death metal song of all time. And the time signatures on this are so crazy and really, like, it's almost like you kind of don't know what kind of direction it's ever going to turn when you kind of first listen to it. And the bass guitar on this is really, really cool too. I really love the bass used on this. Anyway, so let me see here. Okay, so this one is one of my favorite albums of the 90s. This is The Lonesome Crowded West by Modest Mouse, and this is my favorite indie rock album, if I had to say. Now, so they are from Washington, and this is probably their second most well-known release, I'd probably say, but it's my favorite by them. A lot of people, Modest Mouse fans, generally regard this as their best, and I can definitely see why. I like their heavier aspect of their music, and that definitely has this. And what's kind of weird is this record comes with two albums. I'm not sure why that is, but I just think it's the first album I ever had that came with two separate things. Well, actually, unless you count a box set, but this obviously isn't a box set, but I don't know. But this is a really, really great album. It has some really great lyrics and a lot of emotion put into it and stuff. It's a really, really good album. Hold on, let me put the download card back in before I put this away. Okay. Alright, this one is Endless Summer by Venez, and he is an Austrian ambient musician, also glitch. This is one of my favorite electronic albums of all time. This is a glitch influenced album, and I really like music that sounds all glitchy, and this is a really beautiful album too. And I don't listen to a lot of music from Austria, but he is definitely one of my favorites in electronic music genre though. It's a really unique sound, very warm, vibrant, and beautiful glitch album. Really interesting use of sound on this. Alright, this one is The Velvet Underground and Nico by The Velvet Underground, and this is widely regarded as one of the most influential albums ever made. That wasn't a good sound. Back to that. Hope that wasn't alright. This is generally regarded as one of the most influential albums of all time. It's the debut from The Velvet Underground and Nico. And I actually prefer White Light, White Heat over this one now, but I still really love this album too. This is one of my favorite albums of the 60s. And this album is so influential in the music that came after it. It's like a bunch of genres would have paved way for it, like punk music and grunge and stuff like that. This is really important album in the music genre. All the genres that paved way for. All right, this one is Smile Sessions by the Beach Boys, and this is this album was supposed to follow up Pet Sounds, but this album eventually never. There was a lot of problems with the band and them not getting along, and Brian Wilson doing drugs and stuff like that. And it's kind of not completely all the way there mentally, unfortunately, with schizophrenia that Brian Wilson faced, and eventually the album was canceled. And but they eventually were able to release the sessions of it in 2011. And this kind of acts as the album itself. And this isn't the entire sessions. I haven't listened to the entire sessions. I never plan on doing that. I don't know, but so there is a box set that has the entire sessions, the whole album, every song that was made in the recording of the album and everything like that, but I don't know if I go that far. But this, I actually prefer this over Pet Sounds though. And maybe it's because there's a lot more progressive elements on this. And I really like the progressive pop genre. Maybe that might be why, but I'm also kind of into their more experimental sound on this. And yeah, this, I don't know, I just prefer this over Pet Sounds personally. That's just me though. Alright, this is F sharp, A sharp, Infinity by Godspeed You Black Emperor. This is kind of a lot comes with this, but let me see here. So this is kind of cool packaging though. So this album actually, it's a funny story is when I first heard this, I actually didn't know that it had an infinite loop. And when I got it, I was like, what? Is there seriously a scratch at the end or something? What the heck? And I got pissed off for a second. I was like, oh crap, a coin fell out. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where's the coin go? Did it fall? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Anyways, it's a little coin. This is a crushed Canadian penny that was crushed by a train. All of them come with that. And some of them come in different colors. Some of them have a different image. And this is technically not their first album, because their first album allegedly has never been heard by anyone. And no one has ever heard their first album, the All Amps Fucked, whatever, Drooling, whatever it's called. And they claim it's their first release, but there's no known proof that it exists, and they claim that it's doesn't sound anything like their later stuff, but who knows. That's a really great album too. Some people kind of prefer it over Lift Your Skinny Fits. I wouldn't go that far, but it's still a really great release. So, all right, this one is In Utero by Nirvana. And this is the final album, like studio album that Nirvana did. Looks like it's not gonna be. This isn't gonna be the final video. It looks like, but anyway, so yeah, this is In Utero by Nirvana. I'll actually probably go through the rest of my records if that's okay with you, actually. As I just don't want there to be a video where I'm just showing a. But this is I prefer this over Nevermind, and I actually don't own Nevermind because I prefer this one so much over Nevermind. I just think this album's so superior. But this is I would say their most experimental release. There's a lot of noise rock influence on this, and Steve Albini of Big Black actually produced this, and it's one of their heaviest releases too. I was kind of surprised that fans weren't completely didn't hate this when it came out, because it's just there's so much it's just not a very accessible release, I would think, for most people, but apparently people liked it anyway. Now we'll just go for the last 4 records next time we do it, but that's that'll be it. Okay, so that's kind of it for this video, and we'll go through we're gonna finish the record collection when I do the next video, and then we'll go into my CDs. So, which will probably take longer, I would imagine, but that's kind of it, guys. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.